What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Aydian here. So, shout out to the Matthew Shepard Project wearing their shirt today. Get X a lot if this is one of my shirts. Unfortunately, I did not come up with this really epic design. I wish I had, but I hadn't. It's not mine. I'm gonna put y'all over here so you're a little better positioning for everything. Alright, I'm getting myself comfortable because last time on a rant, I was standing up and that was tiring. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about hormones and what my levels are like right now and how I'm going about changing my levels or trying to make them fit more what I'm going for. I have my test results, my blood results right here, and pretty much I went to my doctor and I hadn't been in a little bit because I had gotten like 3 refills of my testosterone. I had lost my insurance, so it had been about a year since I'd gotten my blood work done. And now I promote going every 6 months. Of course, you should follow what your doctor prescribes to you, how often you should get your blood work done. I personally, like I said, I like to get my blood work done about every 6 months, kind of check up on myself, make sure I'm doing everything good, especially because, you know, I do take some supplementation every now and then, you know, BCAAs, amino acids, proteins, you know, creatines, that type of stuff. So that can put extra work on your liver and your kidney, because those are the 2 things in your body that are processing all of these things we put in it. I like to just make sure I'm on the right track, you know. I like to work out for healthy reasons as well as personal reasons. So, alright, so getting right to it. Pretty much I have lowered my testosterone. I started hormones and I was doing 1 cc every 2 weeks. And then after about 4 to 6 weeks, I wanted to switch to half a cc, so 0.5 cc's every week. My doctor had no problem with that. They didn't see any crazy mood swings or anything like that, or depression or anything when I was at 1 cc every other week. So we moved down to 0.5 cc's every week, and that's been going really well. Now, I know a lot of people, I do intramuscular, so that means I shoot it into the muscle. Some people do it with subcutaneous, something like that. I don't do it, so I don't know the full pronunciation. I think it's subcutaneous. Pretty much when you put it in your fat, like you'll take some of your fat and you'll shoot it into the fat instead of into the muscle. You know, it's been around for a while. It's getting more popular. Personally, I just do it the old school way because I've just always done it that way. It's what I'm comfortable with. Who knows what will happen in the future. I lowered my testosterone from 0.5 cc's every single week to 0.4. Now, if you go back in my videos around 2012-ish, I was very young on hormones, and I lowered my T to 0.4, and then I started spotting, unfortunately. Mentally and emotionally, it fucked with me. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, mentally, I couldn't handle spotting. I couldn't handle, you know, that, like, in general. Emotionally, you know, I just, it was ripping me apart, right? Like, I couldn't handle it. Now, I feel a lot stronger in my, my emotional goals in life. I feel more secure in my masculinity now. I think I felt as though I had something to prove to people then, and I don't feel that anymore. So I wanted to bring my hormones back down. Now, that's because in this blood work, it will tell us what the average amount of hormones for a biological male is, and that is, it's a really big range. So the normal range is anywhere from 300 to 1080. That's a big gap. So that pretty much means that if you're 350, you're normal, but if you're also at 1,000, you're totally normal. Now, if I gave you $350 and I gave you $1,000, you could do a lot different things with that money, right? In my mind, I want to be in the middle, right? And this is just a personal thing. It really does nothing. Like, it's not, there's no science behind this. This is just me personally. Like, I want to be in the middle. So, for instance, when I last got my blood work done a year ago, my normal was about right around the 706 or 702 time. This time I got my hormones done. So the best time to get your hormones looked at, like to get your hormone checked, is gonna be when you are right about to take your shot. So the morning before you take your shot. So I take mine every Wednesday morning after my workout, so probably more like afternoon, early afternoon. And then so for instance, I got this blood work done. I don't know when I got the 700 blood work done, but I got this blood work done at the perfect timing. I was fasted for 12 hours. It was in the morning. It was the day before I take my shot, so it was perfect. My normal was 608, so it dropped about 700 in a year. I couldn't tell you if you, now I just took my shot yesterday, so if I got this taken now, it would probably be a lot higher than 608, right? Or maybe, I don't know. So whatever. I'm at 608. This is pretty good for me, actually. I like 608, but I want to get to 500. I don't know why. To me, 500 sounds pretty good. So yeah, I mean, I'm lowering my T. Why? Why am I lowering my T? So I'm pretty much lowering my T because I've been on hormones for 7 years, guys, or it's about to be 7 years in October, and you know, I have my beard, and I have my chest hair, and my stomach hair, and the hair in my ass, and you know, my voice is as low as it's gonna get, and I'm feeling really good about myself. I don't feel a need to keep pumping in this testosterone into my body. If anything, I don't like taking my shot. I don't like that I have to, emotionally, I have to take these hormones, right? So I'm lowering my T. I'm gonna make another video about just emotionally lowering my T, but this was more of like why I'm lowering my T, right? So why I'm lowering my T, I'm lowering it because I'm getting older, and you know, I know men who are like 55 years old who start hormones, and they start on 0.5 cc's weekly. And I started at 22 and I was on the same dose, and mentally in my mind that just doesn't match up. Like, why should a 55-year-old man have the same hormones as a 20-year-old man? You know, like, to me, the 20-year-old should have higher hormones than a 55-year-old. But we're also transitioning, so, you know, there's no clear-cut answer why. All I know is that I feel really good. And taking these hormones, like, I'm seeing more and more hair, you know what I mean? And I don't want it, you know? I see the top of my head, like, it's thinning out, you know? Like, my hair's thinning out, and I don't want that. So I'm hoping that maybe, you know, being more confident in my personal, in this body I'm in my masculinity, plus lowering my hormones just a little bit, just a little dip, you know, hopefully that will help kind of even things out for me. I won't, maybe I won't lose my hair as quickly. Maybe I'll stop, you know, gaining hair everywhere. Again, personally, hormones are, it's a type of, I don't want to call it a drug, right? Because I feel like the word drug has such a negative connotation, but it's some powerful shit, you know? And I started when I was young, and I want to live a long ass life. Like, I want to live my life to its fullest potential, as healthy as I can be. You know, I want to start getting my blood taken every month. I've heard that's really good for trans men too, because when you take hormones, it thickens up our blood, you know what I mean? And now that thick blood is pumping through our body, and that's where blood clots can form and stuff like that. So heart attacks, stuff like that. So I want to lower that risk as much as possible so I can live a really, really long, happy life. Listen, if I was told that you could stop taking hormones and you would look exactly the same as you are right now forever, like you'll always, you know, have the masculine look, I would stop hormones, because I don't need the hormones to make me feel like a man. But what I do need the hormones for is to make me feel more comfortable in my body, so that I can feel confident enough to leave the house and look in the mirror. There's a mirror over there. Look in the mirror and feel like, hey, like, yeah, this is me. This is how I want to present to the world, you know? And that's why I started hormones, you know? And so I'm at that point. So what do I do now? I'm gonna lower them down a little bit. I don't have a hysterectomy. I don't know if I'm gonna get a spot. I don't think I'm going to. I feel pretty confident. I've already been doing this for about 5 weeks, and I've been really good. I have not seen any mood changes or anything like that. I feel good. I feel confident. I'm gonna see how it plans out. And hey, like, people take different amounts of hormones all the time. People don't just take 0.5 every week. They don't take 1.0 every 2 weeks, you know? People take 1.0 every 10 days. People take 0.475. People take, you know, I've met people that take 0.25. Like, that's it. Just 0.25, you know? So half of the dose that everyone takes, you know, regularly. So, you know, I don't know where my journey is going to be, but I knew when I started this journey, I didn't want to be on, if I could be 75 years old and get off of hormones, I wanted to, because I know that physically in my body, I want to live as long as I can, and I don't have any evidence that hormones is really going to make me not live as long, but I also know that you know, it's something, it's a chemical in my body that's helping me emotionally and physically and everything, but I don't want it to backfire later on in life. Like, oh man, like we don't have studies of guys who've been on hormones for 60 years. You know, you're 16 years old and you're starting hormones. When you're 76 years old, you'll be on hormones for fucking 60 years, yo. That's a long ass time, you know? And I don't know what that's gonna do. I also don't want to be 75-year-old man shooting up 0.5 cc's. I mean, shit, that doesn't seem right either. So, you know, it's all your own prerogative, and this is my prerogative, which is to stay healthy for as long as I can so that I can live the life that I didn't want to live all the way to the end. Stay tuned for the next video though. I'm gonna make another video just emotionally on how dropping my hormones emotionally is taking its toll on me and how I feel about that. So stay tuned for that next video. I'm gonna put it up like one this day, put this up probably in the next 3 days, and then I'll put the next one up like the next day, so that is a follow-up video. So here's part 1, I'll get to part 2 next. So otherwise guys, you know, just remember, like, do what you want, you know, go to your doctor, tell them what you want. Okay, because I told my doctor, I said, listen, I'm losing my hair, I'm getting hair everywhere else, you know, I feel confident in myself. Why should I be pumping all these hormones through me? And she agreed. She said, listen, you know, she looked at my paperwork from last year. She was like, you're at 700. That's not totally abnormal. You know, this because we didn't have this 600 result yet. But, you know, I go back in September and I'll get my blood work done again, and we'll see what I'm at then. And you know what? Hopefully I'm at that 500 range. To me, I don't know why, but 500 sounds good to me. Maybe I like 5s, you know, but 500 sounds good to me. So just make sure whatever you're doing, you have the backing of a doctor behind you. You know what I mean? That's the most important thing, is you just want you and your doctor to be on the same page. And if they're not on the same page, go get another doctor. You know, especially nowadays, we have so many more trans people and so many more doctors willing to take trans patients. So, you know, try to find one. I mean, I used to drive an hour and a half. I used to drive 2 hours or take the train for an hour and a half into the city just to get my shot. Just to literally go in, sit there for 20 minutes, have the nurse come in, take my shot, and then I left. But I did it because it was what I wanted. It's how I knew that extra effort was going to get me to where I wanted to be. And so that's what I do in life. I always put in the extra effort, and I always go the extra mile because I know that it'll get me just this much further, and that's what I want. I want to keep progressing in life. Once I decided that I wanted to live, I'm living it up, you know what I mean? So yeah, stay tuned to the next video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Alright, peace.